Gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started. Can we get started, please?
All right.
All right, this meeting is hereby called to order. Just a second, Mr. Manager. I hereby call the regular meeting, actually it's a special meeting, I take that back. It's a special meeting Tuesday, October 30th of 2018 of the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. Now it's 7 o'clock, we can get started then. The meeting is called to order. Please stand and join me in Pledge of Allegiance to the flag first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, Madam Secretary, if you'd be kind enough to call the roll, please.
Sure. Pilak?
Here.
Helmut?
Yes.
Bema?
Yes.
Curtis?
Here.
Douglas?
Here.
Johnson?
Here.
Deeg? Absent.
I'll make a motion to excuse Gary Deeg from the special meeting.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the table to excuse the absence of Commissioner Deeg this evening. I also have a second for that. All those in favor of excusing Commissioner Deeg's absence signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Good. His absence is excused for this evening. We wish him well and his wife as well. I understand they have an emergency they have to take care of. I would now like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda from last meeting, and that is in your packet.
From this meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for the special meeting of the Village of Oxford Planning Commission for October 30th, 2018.
Support.
All right, good, thank you. Did I say minutes? I meant agenda. I apologize if I misstated that. Thank you very much. I'm obliged.
Okay.
All right, we have an agenda before us. It's a rather short agenda, and I have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor of approving the agenda for this evening's special meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Good. Our agenda for this evening is approved then. All right, now I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the previous regular meeting, which was held on October 16th of this year.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting minutes of October 16th, 2018.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve previous minutes. I'm assuming then there are no corrections or changes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Good, those will be entered into the record. Thank you very much. Apparently we have two items of correspondence tonight. We have a site plan and a special land use review letter from McKenna and Associates. I ask that those be filed into the record. Do I need to have a motion to file correspondence?
Yes.
All right, I would entertain a motion to file that correspondence then.
I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion to approve and file the correspondence received for this night's meeting, which are the site plan and special land use review letter from McKenna and Associates. I have a second on that motion also. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Good. That correspondence should be accepted and filed. All right, moving on to old business. At our meeting last time, we discussed the special land use permit request for 130 Oakdale for a tasting room at the One Brewing Company. I believe that name is correct. And so that item of discussion is open for discussion now. And Commissioners, you have received a significant package of information from Mario at McKenna. Are there any comments or concerns that you would like to address this evening in regards to that? All right, I'll take that as a no. Does anyone care to offer any motion on this issue, on this item, which is a consideration of special land use for 130 Oakdale for a tasting room at One Brewing Company?
Okay, I'll make a motion to recommend to the Oxford Village Council granting a special land use approval for bar lounge on the site in conjunction with the principal permitted use of a brewery on compliance with all standards of special land use approval of section 9.2.5. The special land use approval is contingent upon the applicant receiving and complying with all requirements of a site plan approval for the site located at 130 Oakdale Street, Oxford, Michigan, 48371.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the table with a second that we grant us, or actually we make a recommendation to the Village Council that they approve a special land use permit for acceptable business practices at 130 Oakdale, which in particular is a tasting room at the One Brewing Company at that location. I have a motion and a second on the table. I would ask that you do a roll call approval or disapproval of that motion, please.
Okay. Johnson,
Yes.
Helmuth,
Yes.
Douglas,
Yes.
Deeg, absent, Curtis,
Yes.
Bema,
Yes.
Pilak.
Yes.
Good. All right. That recommendation to the council will be transmitted forthwith, and we ask that the council approve that. Moving on to item 8, which is new business, which is a site plan review for the same business we just discussed. This is 130 Oakdale, One Drop Brewing Company. And we have a significant amount of information in front of us in regards to that. Ben, you're in attendance this night? Yes. Would you be willing to come up and come to the podium, please, so that we could perhaps address some questions to you? I know I have one at least for myself. Please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, give me your name and your address, and address all your comments to the chair, please, if you will.
Hello, my name is Ben Schnurl, 5960 Hosner Road, Oxford.
Good, thank you very much. First off, I want to say, Ben, that I'm very impressed with the quality of the package you brought before us.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed the presentation that you made last time at our meeting. I thought you handled yourself very well. And that means a lot to me. One of the reasons I'm in favor of this is that I believe it's being handled very responsibly, and I like it when adults are in charge. So good on you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. I have one particular question in about everything that I've reviewed on here, and I'd like you to address that for me, if you would, please. Okay. On the large sheet drawing that you provided for us, which is of your site plan. You show parking spots on the sheet on the left-hand side of the drawing, which I assume is like maybe employee parking or something like that, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that Mario said that at the minimum there are 15 lots provided for your customers, and those are all on the right side of the drawing from what I understood. So I could then assume maybe that these 4 spaces over here are considered for maybe employee parking. Or something like that, because that, for me, parking will be the issue here. It's going to be a challenge no matter how you look at it.
Right.
And then on top of that, pardon me, let me just finish first. On top of that, on the second sheet inside the booklet, it shows that you are proposing at some time in the future to building a cooler facility where those parking spots are now. So if indeed those are employee spots, if indeed you build that cooler room, then those spots would go away, and now parking becomes an issue again. So I want to make sure that if we prove this, that we're not sorry later, because we've created a parking nightmare for you guys.
Well, to explain, when this site plan was drawn by our civil engineer, the first thing that was kept in mind was public safety. And we felt that allowing patrons to drive by the building in any capacity did not have public safety in mind. Therefore, we designated those past spots as potential employee parking only, because we would allow our employees to drive past the front of the building and park in the back. There's the issue of if we put an exterior walk-in cooler there, and if that was to happen, if you look on the drawing, past those spaces in the back, we own that back lot behind those spaces, and we could always install proper employee parking in the back. So, no patron or persons other than the fire department or police individuals will ever be able to drive past the front of our building in the fire lane at any time.
How are you going to control that?
Well, we have 24-hour security in the form of 6 exterior cameras. We've since updated our pre-existing exterior lighting. And we also will have signage, stating do not enter, employees only for that area, and fire lanes also will be properly marked.
And so the property that you're referring to and that you own is it here marked as lawn?
Yeah, it's.
Because this is a fence, I understand, right behind your property, if I'm not mistaken.
So, yes, where it's marked lawn, but that's a fence, but it has a full opening, for 3 car lengths either side. The whole fence opens up, so, we can potentially move 4, to 8 spaces back there and have, permitted and built.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate that. Commissioners? Leslie, please.
I have a couple questions. One is, you are proposing to replace existing lighting with new cutoff fixtures?
Exterior lighting?
Exterior lighting, yes.
Yes.
Okay, and so you're familiar with the requirements for the shielding and so forth?
Yes.
With those changes, is that going to provide the lighting that you're going to need for all the purposes you just described outside?
Yes.
And how have you planned for lighting in this long area of parking where there are so many spaces, away from the buildings?
So, this is the second building. We have, this is the second building,
Right.
I should say. So, there's a light here, there's a light over every one of these man doors as marked. Those have been updated, with proper shielding to code, to LED fixtures. There's one here and over each man door on our second building. Even though it's not in use, we went ahead and brought those up to date as well. So this property from end to end is lit to code with downward facing lighting.
And in this area, these lights are adequate?
Yes, it's, as you could see, I guess any night of the week, because they turn on when the sun goes down. If you were to pull past the BP and pull in here, you'll see that it's very clearly lit, all the way to the extremities of the outside. There's also one on this side which lights and shines all the way to the back of our property.
Okay, but it complies with, not interfering with the adjacent
Yes.
lighting?
Yes, all the shielding
requirements.
is
Okay.
downward facing only lights.
Okay. I have another question, if I may.
Please go right ahead.
Your water is all provided by a well, is that correct?
That is correct.
How much water do you expect to need to use just on a monthly basis or a weekly basis? If you could break that down for me.
We had a meeting with the township to discuss this, as well as sewer, and we came to the conclusion that after allocating proper residential units for each building, which would be 1 unit per building, that we would allow them to meter said well to determine how much water we're using. But to give you an approximation, with each brew cycle, we only use, we use 108 gallons, and we use 50 gallons to clean the system afterwards. So if you were to include the daily wash down of, like, say, a small bar, which we're proposing, our brewery would at the most use around 200 gallons a day. So we're going to work with the township to make sure that our usage is in check with something that their processing facility can handle, as well as giving them a detailed list of what cleaning agents, what their pHs are, et cetera. So
Is that required by some kind of review with the township?
we needed to speak with the township about water and sewer either way whenever you increase use in an industrial building like this. From industrial use to commercial uses, fairly, a fairly large increase in use. So we wanted to bring them up to speed on how we were going to be using their sewer system, which is more of something that breweries do, because we're pretty sensitive of our inputs and outputs.
So I'm still not clear, do they require you to report to them, or is there a deadline by which you will address this with them?
Yes, they are going to approve our ability to use their sewer based on the occupancy permit provided when we get to that point. So when fire wants to come in and give us an occupancy, the rating of each residential unit is a multiplication of the occupancy. It's a number, like if it's for a bar, like they said that they're gonna use the standardized rating of a bar, and that is, I believe, 0.04 per person. So that use gets approximated into what water is coming out of our well and what water we're gonna put back in. We've contacted also the health department regarding the commercialization of our well, and we are going to have a private well company licensed as such to come in and assess our possible water quality issues. If those water quality issues are at hand, you know, we're going to install state and locally regulated filtration for that use. So we've done our homework so far pretty well with the health department, and really just we're waiting to see, you know, what comes next.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Jack, please.
I have two things. One, this site plan hasn't been reviewed by the village engineering group yet, have they? To verify lumens for the light packs on the outside. So I'm going to include that all conditions of the current village engineer upon their review in the motion. Well, the engineer will have to look at what Leslie's addressing about the light packs on the door and stuff. I'm also going to include the motion in the sewer connection as it relates to this township in your memorandum. Mr. Chairman, I'm the chairman of the Water and Sewer Committee for the township, so I wasn't here last week. But I understand there's a lot of activity going on with our township to determine how much sewage is going to go in the sewer. The water well, they can pump 1 million gallons a day, we wouldn't know it. But if they're going to meter it to determine the sewage use, that you'll know the water usage in the building. So the county, they'll install a county supplied meter. We will meter it and charge them a sewer bill based on water usage. And it gives a more accurate count rather than the 1 REU or the 0.4 REUs. We did that with Legacy Center also. They're on a well.
Okay.
We have them metered, so it gives and provides us an accurate fee to charge for the sewer usage.
Thank you for that clarification.
Very fair.
I appreciate that. Anything else, Jack?
No.
Ben, anybody else? Adam?
I'll just thank you for the thorough documentation here.
That's what I think. Ben, I'm...
Very thorough.
Nice, very thorough. Ben, I'm a little concerned, and I'm anxious to see what the results of an engineering study are. Did Mr. Story look at illumination on your parking lot? You mentioned that public safety was a primary concern for you guys, and so
Yes.
I would like to think that they did. But the way I look at this is about 150 to 160 feet between these two buildings. Illumination on one side pointing towards the parking lot, illumination on the other building parking towards the parking lot. I'm afraid you're going to have a significant dead spot here in the center. And I guess that's something.
Interesting topic, and I say that because as we progress into the world of LED lighting, you know, these days you could put 100-watt LED outside and it lights it up like a birthday cake. So
Yes, it does.
Light pollution is a thing for us. We live out in Metamora.
Right.
We really respect our dark skies and our starry skies out there. So we made sure that when we checked with our electrical supply company.
But it will be verified by our engineer.
Yeah, that these are standardized packed lights. They offer them in low lumen, medium, and high.
Right.
We picked the medium fixtures because they're at the top end of the spectrum. But again, if on the way home you pass by there tonight, I would urge you to swing in. You'll see that it's, the way LED light illuminates in the hertz range that these lights are. The old lights, the 400 watt or 200 watt exterior pack lights are very orange. These are very white light, so that light carries very far between the buildings. And if you were standing at the front door of one and looking at the other, you could clearly see not only a person, but who and what they are. So I feel that they are ample, but they are not impeding on our neighbors in any way.
Good.
So, and making the space safer for the dozens of people that cross our property through there. It's like a thoroughfare every day. So we wanted to light it up for the women that are back there, and I walk the dogs from the Humane Society, and we support them too, so.
Good. All right, thank you very much.
Oh, question for Pete?
Yes, ma'am.
Pete? 51, does that sound right to you for occupancy? Have you looked at this?
Unknown number because I've not had a chance to review a plan of the inside of the building.
Okay,
And I can't do that until after they do the build out of everything, and at that time we will measure.
okay.
All right, I have no further questions. Anybody else?
Adam?
Adam?
Nope.
I'm good.
All right, I'd be happy to hear a motion if someone has
I'll
one.
make a motion to approve the site plan for One Drop Brewing Company LLC, 130 Oakdale Street, Oxford, Michigan, 48371, with the following conditions. Number one, meeting all conditions of the McKenna Planning Letter dated October 11th, 2018. Number two, meeting all the conditions of the Oxford Fire Department letter dated October 2nd, 2018. Okay. Number three, meeting all conditions of the memorandum from the Oxford Village Manager dated October 16th, 2018. And number four, meeting any and all conditions after the review of the site plan from the current village engineer upon their review and recommendation. End of motion.
Second.
All right, further discussion. Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the table to approve the site plan as submitted with the following, or with the red stipulations, I should say. I'm not going to repeat them. Jack did a good job of reading that, thank you. But motion has stipulations attached to it, and I'd like those all attached to the motion as well. I'd also like to have a roll call vote on this issue as well.
Okay. Johnson,
Yes.
Pilak,
Yes.
Deeg, absent, Curtis,
Yes.
Bema,
Yes.
Douglas.
Yes.
Helmuth?
Helmuth?
Oh, I'm sorry, Helmuth.
Yes.
I thought you were just clearing your throat.
Mo, please.
That'll come up in your employee evaluation.
Mo, I'm sorry. I'm not prepared to go on. Mo, I need to hear your yes or no, please.
I said yes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so good. We have a site plan approved for the 130 Oakdale One Drop Brewing Company, and congratulations. We're very happy to have you in the neighborhood, and I wish you all the best. Many years of great success there. All right, thank you, Commissioners. I now open the floor up to public comment, which is agenda and non-agenda related items. So I'm happy to hear comments from anybody who wants to address the Commission.
Seeing none.
All happy smiley faces, Pastor? All right, no comment then, I'll assume that. I'll look at consultant comments and administrative comments. I don't have my consultant here tonight, so we'll see him next time. Administrative comments. Madam Secretary, any questions or issues or problems or anything you'd like to bring before the Commission? All right, thank you very much. Commissioner comments now. Jack, take it away with the Oxford Township Planning Commission, please.
We had, our last meeting was canceled. We had no new business. That's pretty much it. We haven't had any new business.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I know we do that occasionally too. Rose, do you have anything to offer from the ZBA, please?
I believe I have one application for the ZBA. Still looking to see if anybody else wants to join our team. If so, get an application into Joe Medor, and
Good. You do have an applicant.
we have one applicant.
That's excellent.
I'd like to see more,
Glad
but
to hear that. All right, good. Thank you very much. And then, Chief, do you care to give us a DDA update? No update from you either? Gosh, that makes it easy. You guys are making my job too easy tonight. All right, then, that concludes our business for the evening. It is now about, what, 7:30 or so? I can't see that
I'll make a
far.
motion to adjourn at 7:25.
Thank you very much. I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All right. Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the table to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
I think it stopped raining for us.